5 minutes. If you want to skip announcements, feel free to use the restroom. But good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ivan Salinas. I'm the programs coordinator at Beyond Baroque. Welcome. I was just stepping outside and the fog started coming into the street, and it just felt like Mother Nature was starting the ceremonial, um, commencing the ceremony. So it was just like very sunny. All of a sudden, it changed. So I just thought that it was time to get started. Um, but welcome to Beyond Baroque. If you're new to the space, we're a literary arts organization that was founded in 1868 by George Jerry Smith. A few years later, after the space opened in Abbot Kinney, um, the bookstore as a bookstore. Then it traveled here to Venice City Hall in 1978. Since then, poets have taken care of the space, have run the space, and it's like that now. We're a place dedicated to the possibilities of language, supporting and nurturing writers across the country and internationally. I'd like to acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Tongva peoples. Venice is home to the Wanka and Sangha Tongva villages. We stand in solidarity with indigenous communities, and as an arts organization, we're committed to uplift their stories and cultures. There's still some time to register for some workshops that we have coming up this month. Next week, poet Alison Hedgecote will facilitate a poetry workshop exploring lyricism and elements of music and writing. And later in the month, we're hosting Joy as a Tool for Healing in Poetry with Barbara Fant. Um, and this is while we're hosting a variety of readings every weekend. You can find that next week we're having a reading with Christopher Soto, Miriam Gerba, and Danny Snelson, commissioned by Beyond Baroque to create new writing on the theme Deep Faith. This is part of the new series, which has 3 installments throughout the fall here at Beyond Baroque. And each one has a different theme and a different set of writers. In November, the new series will be part of the Southern California Poetry Festival. So just be on the lookout for more announcements on the lineup of writers that we have for 3 days here at Beyond Baroque. So it's going to be just a time to celebrate poetry. And this is also a very special year because we're celebrating our 55th anniversary. And just in a few weeks, on October 21st, we're hosting the Beyond Gala. There's many ways to support. There's tickets on sale in our website. We're honoring several writers of the LA community. And it's our one excuse to be fancy for the rest of the year. So you can be a part of that, celebrate with us. There's options to buy at space as well. If you're part of an organization, if you'd like to thank one of the honorees, and an art auction that you can take part of as well. Just know that all of your support really goes back to the writings and performances we host here. They're free to the community, and we like to also support our writers that come and give their time and provide some stipends for them and provide funding. Just a healthy network of a literary community. So just lastly, I want to thank our executive director, Quentin Ring, assistant director, Jimmy Vega, Eric Alberg, tech master in the booth, bookstore team, Genesis Perez, who make this place run and who you all can see after the reading. Please support our authors. We have books for them on sale right across the hall in the bookstore. You'll find their titles and many other surprises. So to get the party started, I'd like to welcome the host for the rest of the afternoon. I'll pass the mic to publisher of Four Feather Press, Don Kingfisher Campbell. Please welcome him.
Thank you for making it rain in here as much as we could possibly do. I found it to be a good sound. And we have now sealed you in. You are prisoners for 2 hours, but you're going to enjoy these 2 hours, bless you all, because you're going to get to hear some fantastic poets, which I would definitely sneeze twice about that, because it's really, this is going to be a cool afternoon, because these are fantastic poets. And we kind of worked out the order by rehearsing in Arcadia, so we're going to try to go with that same order with a couple of little additions at the end, but it won't take any longer. Don't worry about it running long. It will not happen. Okay, so that means, batting first for Four Feathers Press, please welcome Lynne Bronstein.
Well, I have it in me to want to be a diva, but I organized this with the other poets here so that we could all showcase this press. However, in addition to my own book, which is from Four Feathers Press, I'm going to do a couple of other things. Because I have here, first of all, an anthology called Mad as Hell, an anthology of angry poetry that came out earlier this year, edited by someone named J.R. Simmons. And my poem in here has just been nominated for a Pushcart Prize. Thank you, but you haven't heard it yet. It's called, I'm Sorry You Are So Ugly. Young men watch women walk across the disco stage in an amateur beauty contest. The prize, concert tickets. Young men indicate their approval with cheers and their disdain via melodrama villain asides that can clearly be heard. That chick needs the Stairmaster. Do you have any hobbies? Yeah, I eat a lot. Beauty is only skin deep, but ugly is all the way to the bone. It's no different on the street, maybe even worse. No different in school. The boys make faces like they are being forced to eat a dozen lemons. She's such a dog. Sheesh, there ought to be a law. Who told her she can wear a dress like that, with that ass? And look at those legs, yeah. No different at the agency, with the experts on the marketing of female flesh who remark that round, full faces keep the cheekbones hidden from view, and that's not wanted for the magazine covers. Oh, critics, rendering your verdict on our faces and forms, I am sorry you are so ugly. There's something that scares you when you look at yourselves, something that makes it wrong when you look in the mirror. You can only look out at others and tell them that you are repulsed. The ugliness that churns inside has to be spat out at everyone else. You go back complacently to your grungy caves where nothing can be seen in the perpetual dark. Maybe your eyes need adjusting. Maybe you see what you spat out, and you have to cry secretly, silently, realizing the beauty in the banal. Oh, thank you. Okay, this is my book from Four Feathers, Nasty Girls. The story behind this is that I had written it in 2017 and 2018 and tried getting it around to people, and it was not being accepted. And then Don offered, he had this ebook, chapbook availability thing that I submitted it to, and he published it as an ebook at the end of 2020. That's during the pandemic. That seemed like a practical thing to do during the pandemic. But I longed for it to be a print book and not just printed out on the printer at home. I really wanted a book like this. And luckily, by the summer of 22, Don said he had the means available to make it a print book. And my housemate, James Everett Jones, who's a poet and poetry organizer in his own right and has other talents, designed the cover. And then someone else I know said it looked like a Barnes & Noble product, I guess because all the famous people's pictures on it. So I'm going to read 3 poems from it. The idea of this book is these are poems all in the voices of historic women who were denied a place in society, were the subject of scandal, were banned, persecuted, even worse, in a couple of cases even executed, because they just didn't conform to the female role stereotypes, especially sexually. So this is the poem of Marie Duplessis, who was born Alphonsine Plessis in a French village, was sold by her own father to some dirty old man in the village, ran away to Paris, and became a courtesan, and became very successful, and died at the age of 23 of tuberculosis. She is the subject of the novel La Dame aux Camélias, and the opera La Traviata, and the movie Camille with Greta Garbo. She's very much entrenched in the culture, but this is about her in her last days when she was trying to survive, trying to heal herself from the tuberculosis. No more rice gruel, fruit salad, almond milk, and syrup of fern. I want my frites. I remember looking at bags of frites in a vendor's stall. It was near the Pont Neuf, nighttime in Paris. I was 15. I had run away, good riddance, from my awful drunk of a father, and the dirty, drooling old fool to whom my father sold me. From being plain Alphonsine, country girl, laundress, umbrella worker, and amateur whore, ahead of me lay Paris, city of cafes and rustling silks, where I would rule at the age of 20. I feel dry in my throat, dizzy, must lie down for a while. The doctors will shake their heads. You must rest, they will say. You must refrain from what irritates. No red meat, no coarse bread, no spices, no salt. But they prescribe laudanum, leeches, quinine, opium patches, snail syrup. Their medicines are inane. I hear everyone telling me, refrain, be good. Do not survive by killing yourself. Try to get by the good way. Don't sleep with men. I won't heed or hear them. I want to stay up all night. I want to transcend society's judgment. I want to be the nobility I stole by using the name Duplessis. I want to be the princess, and then to abolish nobility, be free in a true Paris of liberté, égalité, and sordid. I won't need to be exploited and sold to the public in my ex-lover's novel. I want to be the girl who does just what she wants and does not have to die to be immortal. I will live to be 85, travel in my coach with the curtains up. I will sing like my future operatic self, but with no cough. And forget about the camellias. I will be the lady of frites, like the ones I munched on, bought by a gentleman for a runaway teen on a Paris night so long ago. Well, next I'm going to do two women named Josephine, but they were quite different, and both American though. The first one was Josephine Marcus, eventually Josephine Marcus Earp. She was Wyatt Earp's common law wife. He's buried in her family cemetery plot up near San Francisco. And she was daughter of a wealthy Jewish merchant family who fled from her family to join an acting troupe, ended up in Tombstone, and ended up getting involved with Wyatt. And so she's the one in the center picture here wearing nothing but a black transparent veil. Where was I during the gunfight at the OK Corral? Waiting for my man, of course, but from what I heard about the fight, I should have been there. I could have stopped them cold simply by showing up wearing only that black veil I wore for my French postcard photo. They would have stared at my perfectly formed breasts, and their guns would have gone limp, while all their blood rushed elsewhere. Then I could have fired my own inner forces and shot the bad guys down. Historians have mixed me up with the nighttime ladies of Tombstone. They always called us whores if we came and went and lived our lives as if we shot straight from the hip. And in fact, we sometimes had to do just that. I drank up barroom brawls and walked down the scruffy streets with my head held high. The sheriff's lady, then the gunfighter's bride. Yes, I posed for that picture card, but it was a matter of my own pride. Society demanded I pay the price by feigning shame for my former life. Doc Holliday once asked Wyatt if he had become a Jew because of me. No, his religion to the end was dreaming of his wilder days as he meandered on movie sets for silent westerns. I, on the other hand, became devout. lit Shabbos candles and recited the prayers, polished the shine on my husband's guns, insisted the books and movies convey a purer image. He became the savior of the West, and I wrote myself out of the story. When I ran away so young, I thought, my family must be sitting Shiva for me. Now I sit Shiva for myself for one hell of an eternity. But I relished being the dark Judean lady with the sheer veil falling over the naked me. I did not care if my family mourned so long as I lived rough, free, and easy. And this last one of the book is the other Josephine Baker, who went from Harlem to Paris to success as the Folie Bergère and in films, and then later volunteered for the French resistance and was given the Croix de Guerre for her bravery. And she tells you in this poem about one of the things she did. Ask me what courage is. Some would say it took real nerve to dance almost naked in a skirt of bananas, to splash in a bathtub for the movie camera, wave to the audience, smiling. The bronze Venus, they called me. Some would say it took a lot of gall to have all those lovers and husbands, famous names, men and women, even as the gossip goes, the King of Sweden. What a life, what a succès de scandale. You could say that it was courage in Paris during the occupation, gathering information for the resistance. I attended a dinner at my former house that was now housing the Gestapo, and I ate dishes that I knew were poisoned for me. I excused myself to go to the bathroom, and they let me go, for they did not know I knew my own house, and that there was a window in the bathroom through which I escaped. Ran back to resistance headquarters and said, "Pump my stomach quickly." But that was not courage, mes amis. It was presence of mind. As for the scandal, to me, that was what I encountered back in the country I had abandoned. Nightclubs were refusing people with my skin. And when I protested, I obtained the wrath of Mr. Newspaper columnist. Did he think I would care? I, who had eluded the Nazis? That tall, thin, energetic black girl in a banana skirt, breasts bare in the bubbly bath, long legs running her to safety in wartime. I entertained no fools. Yet the time came when I needed a break. When I was asked to join the civil rights struggle, I said, my children needed a mother. I needed to live. I wasn't hiding out. It's just that in a movie, you know how it will end. Not like life where the script can call for rough times. When I heard there were plans for a movie of my life, I said, no one could play me. For to live a life like mine, who else had the courage? And I'm going to end with something very personal here. And I believe I read this in Arcadia, but I didn't explain it, or I read it at the Spar with Beatnik Ghosts and didn't explain it. Aliyah has two meanings in Hebrew. Aliyah means that you come up to the bima, which is like the podium here in the synagogue, and you read a Torah portion. It's considered an honor to be asked to read an Aliyah in a synagogue service. Aliyah also means a journey to the Holy Land, to Israel. This morning, Hamas attacked Israel. 40 Israelis were killed. There's a war on now, and regardless of which side that you're on, or if you don't take sides in the conflict there, people are dying there. And a couple of years ago, one person, a former editor of mine, decided to go live in Israel because she'd become so afraid of this country and the persecution of so many groups here, including Jews. And so she said, I'm going to make Aliyah in Israel this year. And at that point, I wrote this poem about a vision of different people being able to make the Aliyah together. Come, take my hand and walk with me to the corner and up the hill. Do you see that garden with the colorful blossoms? It isn't far. Don't be afraid. We can get there if we trust that we can. We look into each other's eyes and see how different we are. Just as there are so many colors in the garden's flowers, we are two of those colors that the grown-ups say divide us. We make the climb anyway, stumbling over recently dislodged earth. Giggling at our efforts, we finish our journey, pulling at each other's arms until we reach the gate. You bow to your angels, and I say the holy words. We breathe in air with a scent like honey and wish that we could bottle it and take it back to our friends so they know on this day we made Elia. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to ask you to make it rain a little bit more for Lynne Bronstein, please. Yeah. I was thinking all kinds of thoughts what to say about Lynne Bronstein's poetry, you know. But it has political purpose, you know. It's puts you inside those people, and that's what's so awesome about her poetry. So glad to publish it. I wanted to call her the Lady Godiva of poetry. Well, people would take it wrong, right? They forget the political edge, right?
Well, I did dress as Lady Godiva once for Halloween, and my wig was so long I was stepping on it, and cigarettes were getting in it, and chewing gum and things. It was sticking to other people's costumes. I thought, I'll never do this again.
Well, all right. So these are all great poets. This next poet, I don't want to tell you anything about her poetry before you hear it, because, you know. But I think I can get away with saying she went to USC. Well, I said too much already. Okay. Jackie Chou, please.
Thank you, Don. Without you, none of this would have happened. So I'm going to read some poems that are published by Don, and I'm going to read some other new work. This first one is called The $80 Perfume. What is this gift buried in pink tissue? Our fingers touch as you hand me the paper bag, like making a vow. I feel its heaviness like pebbles weighing down the rope handles. You could have given me cash or taken me out to lunch instead. Now there's this glass bottle sitting on my nightstand. It eats away the odors with its expensive, fruity scent. Thank you. And I write a lot about childhood, so this is a childhood poem. I just want to do my homework. I don't want a new hair clip with a pink satin bow, strawberry lipstick, dresses with swirly sequins and lace fringes. I don't want the shimmering nylons and patent leather Mary Janes of a girly girl. I don't want a kiss on the cheek or a crush for that matter. I just want to do my homework, to feel reams of scented line paper with rainbow ink. That has always been my idea of fun. The next one is for Sylvia Plath. Some days I see a ghost girl in the mirror, crawling up to the glass surface. Other days I see an aging woman. Some nights I stand on my balcony, absorbing the glare of the moon, the ghastly silhouettes of the trees, rising like black fires. Other nights I shut the blinds before the nocturne overwhelms me, the way it did you, despite your capacity to feel deeply and suffer. Okay, now I'm going to read something that Dawn published. This is a book on poetry about movies, and my poem is called The Dowager Empress. Mother, mother, where are you taking me? Must we pass again that fenced playground where children my age speak English and play tetherball? Even with my head down, I can hear their shrieks, their feet thumping the ground as they chase one another. Mother, mother, I am not presentable. My green embroidered shirt is stained by soy sauce. I don't know the kids' games. Mother, mother, where are you taking me now? Must we go again to that rundown theater with gum-spotted carpet? There, the Empress's enemies are dragged away to have their limbs cut off and thrown into jars, their faces pale and hair unruly. Mother, mother, please hold my hand. Tell me it's all make-believe. This childhood you've created, these movies you take me to. Now I'm going to read some more new work. Okay, I'm going to read this one. You know I'm here. You know I'm here, though I've been gone from your life. You know it when a red leaf tumbles on your foot, when you find a white gull feather in a mall parking lot, or one corner of a torn photograph in a pile of trash, when you walk upon a single boot print in the dirt, hear a lost melody of a familiar song, see a sliver of the moon, they're signs that I'm here, thinking of you. Housemates, I see you in my memory as I look out the bus window at the swaying palms and cars passing by. You appear in flashes of smiles and puffs of weed smoke you exhaled. I recollect its grassy scent, which you deemed more pleasant than the aroma of my steamed rice. You stared at me with stony eyes as I told you about my crush, the softness of his lips in our deep tongue kisses. I recounted my daily adventures in the midst of your wrath, your complaint about the toilet rolls not being replaced. Your voice filled the void between hours of studying in what was supposed to be the best years of my life. Do I have time? Okay, I'm gonna read a couple more. This is a villanelle that was written in Don's workshop. It's called The Catfish. There are things to learn to be a catfish, to avoid looking like a fool. One is the use of proper English. No doubt do your pictures astonish, bare brown skin to make men drool. There are things to learn to be a catfish. Your background info is all gibberish, saying you went to an Ivy League school without the use of proper English. I find your diction very childish, repeating overused terms like cool. There are things to learn to be a catfish. Your clothes in the photos are stylish, but you seem to know no social rule or the use of proper English. You're a scammer with an unfulfilled wish. Your strategies as crude as they are cruel. There are things to learn to be a catfish. One is the use of proper English. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna read maybe two more, or.
You said that during the last one.
Oh, okay. So I'll read two more. Okay, yeah, I did say that. So maybe I have one more to read, or.
I'm not a math major.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna read some poems inspired by other poets, and this following poem is inspired by Marilyn Monroe's poetry. Life, I have been a rose, sometimes wishing to be the bee, buried in its petals, the one who is intoxicated by another's nectar. But life, I have bloomed in your very dance halls, twirled under the strobe light, in satin and chiffon dresses, red-lipped and silver-footed. I've looked into the mirror long and hard, my flushed cheeks yellowing under the bathroom lamp, the years stolen from my face. And here's one, I'm gonna end on one inspired by Pablo Neruda. Faded. Let me know if you still love me like I do you. If you do, I shall take the liberty to revisit our abandoned past, continue our story where we left off. I shall reserve an entire page to store your ever-burning smile. However, if you no longer love me, also let me know. I shall respectfully remove you from my heart, my dreams, like a picture in a frame. I shall discard memories of us like long expired roses inside a vase. I shall not flip back the pages, but will write a brand new story without you in it, but a different hero. Thank you. And thank you, Dawn, for everything.
You see how you pay you back right now. I don't know, I'm just too happy that this is happening, you know. And I don't know what's wrong with me. I say politically incorrect things like the Lady Godiva poetry. And then I was thinking about Jackie's poetry, and I said to myself, if I was a woman, I want to write poetry like Jackie Chow. What's wrong with me? I say these things. That's what I was thinking, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's phenomenal poetry. I remember from the very first poem I ever read of hers. Okay, getting over it now. Moving on. All right, I'm gonna try to play it safe here. Okay, so Alicia Viguer-Espert is our next reader, and I can just tell you for a fact, she's an award-winning poet. Leave it at that right now. Yeah, make it rain.
Can you see anything? I am delighted to be here, so thank you that you're here. I want to start with a new poem, and I want to say, before I was born, my mother had a 7-year-old boy, 4-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old daughter. She was pregnant with one of my sisters, and then later on, 2 of us came, and the 4-year-old died. Portrait of a family. In the beginning, there was light projected from the eyes of the sister I would never know. A bright sun warmed the glass window, and my mother lifted her eyes to the spring blue sky, a prayer on her lips, which was not answered. Months passed, and the baby she carried was born thin and long like a ribbon without a present. Nobody bothered to find her a proper name, busy as they were mourning the one just taken. On the day of her birth, they searched for the saint of the day, which was Ramona. They named her Rosa. My sister Amparo, who was 2 at the time, still complains about her parents being so distracted that they forgot to get her shoes, forcing her to walk with soft booties. This was never proven. My mother never forgave the doctor who insisted, against her knowing, that her oldest child did not have scarlet fever. She did. By the time I arrived, the orange trees had bloomed thrice, rain flooded the plains, snow had fallen, lots of water passed under the broken bridge, but neither the memories nor the pain. A wound remained open in my parents' contentment, and sometimes, though I didn't understand, it bled over our school shoes, the garden, the dinner table. Who could compete with the ghost of sunlit curls and soft beauty of a 4-year-old? From the meadows, I brought armloads of wildflowers to my mother, purple and pink. And among the wheat fields, flaming red poppies with a black heart, which wilted even before reaching the house. 3 years after my birth, my younger sister entered the family. Couldn't comprehend who invited her, but she came just the same, taking a lot of space, mainly mine. Our brother, 10 years older than me, remembers the 4 white horses, the white carriage, the white box, the closed drapes, dark corridors, long silences. We convince ourselves that there will be no more deaths, that the rest of us will grow old together, leaning on each other or a cane, laughing at all family jokes. But while we retell the stories and sometimes laugh heartily, another one of us is already missing. Thank you. When I was 7 years old, I went in an outing with my parents to a monastery. And when I arrived, I said, oh, I remember this place. I remember that's where the pigsty, that's where the horses were, whatever. And they told me, no, you've never been here. And I'm sure they were right, because I could not have gone by myself at 7 so far away from the city. But I knew the place, and I always knew that I'd been there. Remembering the monastery. Between the damaged roof and the walnut tree slightly to the right, I watched Venus appear using a celestial method long discovered by astronomers who register astral details as we, scribes, illuminated manuscripts and the dim light of the scriptorium. Those days were sacred, when a robin sitting on the windowsill to preen its tail caught the brothers' attention, and they lifted their heads from the smooth parchment, interrupted grinding lapis for a minute to smile at birds' ease to reach heaven. Today, the empty monastery stands silent. Stone walls crumble, beehives destroyed, all bees dying in clusters from pesticides. Its orchard born years ago, the pigsty covered with ivy. Only a single walnut tree stands by the wooden door, cracks by sun, which, like me, was once new and strong. In those clear mornings, nothing was futile. The bundles we carried were not burdens, but a fair exchange for the gifts received. Silence, blue skies, tolling bells falling like rain in May when it was most needed. The roads leading to the door were infinite, and no wind blowing over the hills stopped a pilgrim seeking the solace of an inner contact with Andromeda, Cassiopeia, or their own soul from getting the reward. In another life, eons ago, I must have been one of those monks, waiting for the beloved, leaning on the walnut tree, closed eyes focused on the heart chakra, counting each breath, which like heartbeats connected to my soul. I remember an eagle resting on that same tree tried to tell me a secret, but I didn't listen. Thank you. I must say that in the Native American tradition, the eagle is a messenger and always brings a message. This one is about an experience that I had years ago in Afghanistan, and actually Don did publish this one too. The bus. I couldn't say where the melons came from. They appear on our laps, open like doors, and sweet smelling. Dozens surveying eyes, mostly Afghani farmers, smile, warming the space within the walls of the glassless windows of a bus from Kandahar to Kabul. They delighted in the cleverness as much as our surprise. Questions in non-existent English were clear to me, and I answered every single one in Spanish. Somehow, every smile, every nod of the head fashioned circles of parchment, harmonic tablas of oneness sprouting from black beards, an American man's jean, a European woman's cotton blouse, open hands of unknown friends. We rode the same bus to the same destination, their capital, ate the same savory pilaus, theirs. communicated in the universal language of our humanity. When the sun rolls its sleeves down below the toothless windows, the bus stopped. Dozens of blazing black eyes descended the bus 2 steps, accompanied by rubber sandals, shalwar kameez, and flowing turbans. Men gathered prayer rugs out of wind and dust, spreading them on the desert sand. They stood up. The sun turned the sky pink. They kneeled. The sky turned bright orange, then deep red, as they prostrated themselves. Stillness entered the open shrine. Like a bird, my breath flew away. Thank you. Okay, I wrote this one last year on the last day of October, facing the Pacific. I remember in my sea, the Mediterranean. October last, facing the Pacific. I sit on a bench outside my cottage. October's last day sparks as if to say, match this, and I can, with 1,000 days at another cottage, facing my sea's impossible blues, diluted or darkening, depending on season and hour. A song flies over my head, and I catch it with dendrites of memories in clouds of nostalgia. A childhood woven with threads of photographs, feet in the water, a few crabs inside a pail, a blazing line of color behind my back, waves I tried to capture to my dismay as they dissolve as the bubbles they were. Adolescent walkers cross the view of the horizon, their outlines cutouts of darkness avoid sea urchins. I look through crimson sunsets, spumous surf, evening light, modestly thinning itself out to compensate its extravagant beauty rolling in front of my eyes as ping-pong balls bouncing. I inhale the aromas of iodine and orange blossoms that nourishes me. I write a love letter every day to us strolling the Mediterranean shore, counting constellations between kisses. A full moon, admiring herself in water, your shadow, entering the port of my arms, this hope that, like Odysseus, your return keeps me alive, while it has aged me 20 years. Thank you. Thank you. This I'll say more later. It's called The Visit. From the gate, I noticed flying seagulls, cascading jasmine, leaning on cold stones of names, dates, and inscriptions. My eye catches a silhouette in blue. She returns the look from her 20 years of distance, still so beautiful. Nearby, parallel lines of turquoise give solidity to water. Melancholy and bougainvillea trickles from wrought iron balconies. I walk the path to meet her. I cannot forgive her how her cruel departure broke my step, collapsed my place in the world. Still, tenderness flows through me, remembering our strolls by the sea, passing sails in front of our window, sharp cypresses puncturing the lucent sky, nightingales, conversation, and the botanical gardens. As the sting of memory stabs my side, I drag my feet all the way to the stone, carved with your name. I wrote that one inspired by my brother-in-law. My older sister died. She lived in Germany, but she was in Spain when she died. And my brother-in-law, which is German, will go every day to his cemetery with a folding chair and will sit there and read the newspaper. And to me, there was something strange, but very touching at the same time, just kind of searching for her wherever she could have been. This is about, sorry, yes, water. A lot of times we want something very badly, and by the time it comes, we don't no longer care. So this is about that feeling. The phone call. Sorry. The music a crying guitar, much like an infected violin, Chou's lips blonde by winter. My heart pounded by absence, never expected again to palpitate clean like a new whistle taken out of its wrapping at the store. The phone rings to that song we used to dance to by the sea. The ghost of your voice from abroad shakes me out of my incantations, resurrects embers from long dead ashes. I know the clear skin of yesteryears, strong thighs, and certain softness surrounding those forest green eyes form residues of memories, now stiff with coldness and distance. I search for a photograph as we speak to match the face to the vulnerable voice of a Peter Pan, slow to grow to his potential. You are famous now, and a different voice implores forgiveness through airwaves. Since cables, too, are gone, and nothing ties us together anymore. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to read the last one so other people can read. I don't sleep very well, and my husband sleeps like a baby. And sometimes I have nothing else to do. I watch him breathing. And if he doesn't breathe, I think he's not breathing, then I really freak out. So, nocturnal fear. I listen to the smooth roaring of his breath from one shore to the other side of dreams, consciousness. A gentle rhythm of sloshing water fills the bedroom like music. I panic when it deviates its course, the length of a medium-sized rock. I fear the boat not reaching its destination, getting stuck in the middle of the river, currents frozen, wind paralyzed in mid-air. A suspended cloud adrift from her sisters, gone, dissolved into nothingness. He's not aware, of course, of my anxiety, my watchful eye scanning the surrounding darkness, my attuned ear bent like a leaf in the direction of his green center. I cross my hand over his heart, let it rest, until I feel a movement, the soft vibration of the soul inhabiting his chest. Thank you.
Okay, you're in the hot seat now. The Kingfisher comment is coming in just seconds. But before I make that comment, I was curious, is anybody taking pictures of these poets? Did we all forget to do that? Because if that's true, we'll just have everybody come up one more time just to make the audience believe we took pictures as we went along. Yeah. But for now, that comment, you know, I'm always thinking something when I'm hearing your poetry, and when it came to Alicia, I was thinking, trying to be not politically incorrect again, you know, like I was the last two times. If I looked in a dictionary for the phrase quality poetry, it would say, look at the poems of Alicia Viguer-Espert. Again, I'm trying to pay a high compliment. Yeah. Of course, dictionaries usually don't have phrases, they're words. Oh man. Okay, I blew it there. But that's why we write poetry, because sometimes when we say things out loud, it doesn't quite work as well as poetry, huh? Yeah, it's a rare person that can just speak poetry. Yeah. Do you know anyone like that? Anyway, to help wrap this up, we have one more poet. I really feel sorry for this last poet having to come on after Alicia. Hard act to follow. And so to cushion the blow for that last poet, I stole an idea from, you know, it seems to be a trend right now. People have a new book coming out, and then they do a reading Beyond Baroque or wherever, and they get like 4 or 5 of their friends to read a poem from the book, right? Oh, what a great idea. What a great idea. I see the purpose of this. It helps to stock the audience. I mean, yeah, that's why we do it. Yeah. Oh, no, it's because they're good friends and they appreciate my poetry. That's what it is, really. Yeah. So to prove that point, I'm going to bring on 4 friends. And each one of them is going to read one of my poems. They chose the poem. I feel good about that, very good about that. I get happy easily. And according to my red printed list, the first poet is Simone Wilson, who's going to read my poem, White Gloves. Oh, yeah. Please give it up for Simone Wilson. Oh, yeah.
White gloves. A single glove lies on the shelf. Inspiration. A souvenir of the Wednesday funeral I was a pallbearer for. A fortnight ago, 4 of us carried the casket out of the hearse onto the collapsible waiting bier wheeled over to the steps where we had to lift again to the church entrance, once more to be rested on the conveyor. Walk down the aisle maintaining one gloved hand on the long, smooth rod handle to the front of the sanctuary. Took our seats for the service. Words were said and echoed. I hadn't been here since 1985. Everything looked the same 37 years after my father's ceremony. I only remember just then they had donated the expense of the carved 14th station plaque still hanging on the wall, going back into 6 decades. It felt familiar to be back amongst the polished wood pews and the swinging, smoking censer. When prayers were finished, we resumed our positions. Placed the oblong container towards double doors to return the encased body to the black station wagon. For the ride to the cemetery and the final carrying over other headstoned mounds to lay down one last time the sarcophagus that held what was left of my mother, an autopsied shell hidden in a closed rectangular box. It had the weight of a woman soon to be lowered to rest on top of her husband, as was arranged ages before we sat all those episodes later, people saying thoughts out loud, though I was silent, masked, my brain filled with memories of a childhood spent with parents and my escape to my own traumas and triumphs chronicled in poems of which this one refrains from saying too much out of respect for a life tangent to mine. Now, I'm the eldest member of my acknowledged family. I must continue to try to set an example for my adult children on how to let go of the past in roles gently recalling the wake.
Oh my God, that was too cool. It's like being at my own funeral. I hung on every word. Oh my God. Yeah, such a great episode. Thank you so much. Oh my God. I get to do this 3 more times right now? I'm in heaven. Okay. Beverly Higginson has selected the poem Appreciation. Thank you, Beverly. Please give her a little rain.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I haven't read a poem in front of people in, wow, I think over a year. So when Don put out this, call sort of have people offer, I thought, okay, I want to do that. And the poem I'm going to read, Appreciation, Don has been very vocal about how happy he is in his marriage. So I thought this poem was very appropriate. Appreciation. After attending a super spreader pre-Halloween poetry reading, maskless, in a black room with no open windows, we spend my birthday week at home, feverish, body ached, sore-throated, congested, and coughing. Now, I munch on popcorn from a white porcelain bowl during the writing time of the online Saturday workshop, and hear my wife in the bathroom washing clothes with the portable spinner. I walk down the hallway to visit her. She's naked. I apologize, give her body a big, wet hug. I think to myself, I'm feeling better. Thank you.
Oh, this is too good. This is too good. You got to try this with your poetry, people. I've never done this before. This is too much. This is awesome. Oh, my God. Whew. Whew. And now, just to up the ante a little bit, there's this guy I know. You might know him. His name's Kaloki. Yeah. And for some crazy reason, whenever I get around this guy, I get ideas. And so, we get here, and Kaloki, well, actually, he told me before we even got in the car, he's going to have a little trouble because he chose a poem that's got some Chinese in it. Oh, so he slips me a note saying, how do you pronounce these words? How do you pronounce these words? And I'm thinking there's no quiet way to do this, right? But then the idea came. Hey, I got an idea. Kaloki can come up here and read the poem called The Gap, which is a direct emulation of a poem by Tanya Kohan called The Gap. She read here a few weeks ago. And to assist him in reading this poem, the Chinese words, is my wife, Iwa Gao. So I welcome Kaloki and Iwa Gao to read this poem.
Yes, I'm glad that your helpmate can help me do this, because I chose this poem about a gap, but there certainly was a big gap between my English and the way to say Chinese. Is this a Mandarin or a form of Chinese? Well, anyway, I get my glasses on. There's also a gap between me reading with my other. Okay, the gap was inspired by a poem by Tanya Kohan. Between America and China, between English and Chinese, between Facebook and WeChat, between hello and
你好
between beautiful and
漂亮
between good morning and
早上好
between morning shower and nighttime shower, between sharing biology and sharing culture, between independence and communists, between prepackaged food and cooking, between Rouse and Great Wall, between rock and ballet, between man and woman, between me and you, and yet we make us come together inside the gap. Thank you. Thank you.
Are they recording this thing? I don't know. I'm just having too much fun here. This is just further proof that if you marry me, you're going to eventually be reading poetry. Yeah, so thank you both. And the fourth person, he's running late, so I don't know if that means he'll be here at all. So that means that I get to read not just one poem, but 2 poems, right? Or maybe a couple more, because some people read 5, some people read 7, and you've heard 3, so I'm doing the math, but I'm not very good at math, so I'll just read. Oof! Don't touch the microphone. Okay. And further proof of my poetry nerdness, 2023, poems large enough for an old person to read. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, a couple of these. This first one is called Space Journeys. It's from my book Terrestrial, which is available in the Beyond Baroque bookstore, just feet away. Yeah, along with my previous book, Flower Man, published by Cyberwit Press. You might have heard of Cyberwit Press. That's the press that published Jackie Chou. Yeah. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that Lynne Bronstein's book, Nasty Gals, is also available. Which is it? I can't even remember. It's Girls. Okay, it's Girl. I had it right the first time. I was correcting myself for no reason. Yeah, so that's available in the bookstore too, right? Yeah, I got that right. Okay, phew. All right, so Space Journeys, here we go. My mother kept my earliest drawings of Fireball XL5, a rocket ship from a television show I don't remember. A few years later, I thrilled to Thunderbirds, human-like puppets, who awkwardly sauntered to their numbered vehicles. One even went underwater. Then came the actual NASA moon landing. I became an at-home researcher who shared his discoveries at school with mimeos for my classmates. But when I grew to an adult, life gave me the opportunity to get onto a roller coaster, screaming like my girlfriend, and vomiting not far from the ride exit. End of dream. So you probably feel the same way about your poems, right? These are all my little children here. And they say you're only as good as the last poem you wrote, huh? So I got the last poem I wrote right here. This poem is called Just in Case There's an Accident on the Freeway Going Home from Beyond Baroque. No, that's not the title. Yeah. But this is almost as bad. It's called I'm Satisfied If I Die Tonight. I'm getting old. I don't know about you, but I've been feeling pretty good about it, living this long. So this poem is going to cover that. And as usual, I have these politically incorrect thoughts. I apologize in advance. I'm just trying to be honest, okay? All right. And here it goes. I've seen the sun rise to light a cloud-filled sky, orange and pink like a bouquet of fresh roses. I've watched my babies being born like miracles, soft crown, active limbs emerging out of hairy hole. I've ingested every one of my favorite dishes, from French toast bubbling like a blanket of fall, to a diapered infant, a potato burrito, and my wife's 7-ingredient fried rice. I've lived at least 3 different cultures through 4 marriages that died from infidelity or neglect. but I've had my share of hugs and kisses and licks and orgasms that kept me healthy enough to imitate otters. I've enjoyed music, movies, and most of all, poetry, which gave my life a soundtrack and written context. Now, as I gaze at the coming sunset from my rented Alhambra home, I understand breaths are limited and merely relish sounds and sights and tastes like a train passing the curves of naked women. May I hold on to my beloved memories until I have to let them go, exhausted by this plentifulness of experience. Okay, so that's how I wrote, so I'm only as good as that. Okay, I hope that's good enough for you. So if you haven't picked up my book, or Lynne's book, or Jackie's book, and Alicia, your book's there too? Good to know, good to know. I didn't know until this very moment. That's good to know. So be sure to go visit the Beyond Baroque bookstore forthwith and get a copy if you don't have one already. Support these poets, because who else is going to do it, right? It's got to be us. And thank you for being here today. I want to thank Lynne Bronstein personally for arranging this event. She deserves at least a smattering of rain for that. Okay, and we'll try in 2024 to have more events like this. I'll tell you this right now, October 26th, there's some event online called One Mic, One Globe. Have you heard of it? One Mic, One Globe. It's hosted by Jessica Wilson Cardenas. And I'll be sure to put the word out on Facebook because I'm one of the featured poets and I'm thinking of pulling the same trick.
Is it going to be here?
Yeah, it's going to be October 26th on Zoom. Zoom, not here. Yeah. It's called One Mic, One Globe, hosted by Jessica Wilson Cardenas. And you'll get word about it. You know I'll get to you because I want to do this again. And this is just too much fun. We're going to try it with your poetry too. All right, so we'll just work on bookings for the future. And I hope that, so the next time we're here at Beyond Baroque, we're going to fill some more seats. Okay? You heard it here first. All right, thanks again. You'll get some snacks, you know. And, oh, I just remembered. Do we want to do the photograph fakery thing? We should do that. Okay, so Lynne Bronstein goes up first, and we take her picture. Where's my photographer? Hey, baby, are you willing to take some photos? Take a picture of the photo? With your camera?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so light here.
All right, so this is Lynne's moment. Lynne's reading. There she is, very earnestly reading. Hey, Kelly, wait. Oh, you're going to the restroom? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I got it. But come back to your photo.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah.
Did you get it? You got it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then, this is the second reading. It's so fast. And then Jackie Chow.
Okay, she got it.
Oh, it's Jackie. Okay, let's get Alicia's picture. Come on up here like you're reading, you know, because we did it when you were reading the first time. Yeah. Oh, you read like that? That's how you read? No paper, okay.
I have no paper.
Yeah, one more time. Let the light hit your eyes. There you
I'm
go.
just reciting from memory.
Yeah, that's what she did. At least I remember she did that. She did that. Fantastic. And then the host, that's me, introduced some things. Remember? Yeah. Did you get me, baby? Oh, you? Oh, me? Oh, that guy. Yeah. We've been together for 5 years now. You know, you can tell.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just faking it. You know. Yeah, just for, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's unfamiliar because we don't fake it in our marriage. Yeah, okay. And then I wanted to get Simone Wilson up here, you know, because I want you to get some spotlight. Come on up. Okay, so the individual is. get her some spotlight. Okay, there's 3 more. Yeah. There we go. Man, she did such a great job with my poem. I nearly died.
It was. Oh, God. No.
Yeah, you got it? And Beverly? Beverly, I want you to get some recognition. Come on, Beverly. Come on. You help my marriage, Beverly. Here we go.
Maybe this light is.
Yeah, like here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, put together.
Okay, good.
And the winner for
Yes.
Best Natural Smile, Beverly Dickinson. And this is the moment where I get asked to karaoke. Man, he's in the restaurant. What do I do? You want to come up here with me real quick, baby? We'll take a quick picture. You help me real quick. Yeah, because you did. You helped me with a poem. You just don't know it. And then that guy's going to take, somebody's going to take a picture. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nobody's taking a picture. Oh, no.
Okay.
Ooh.
And you smile.
Thank you, Alicia.
What about
All right. So we completed the fraud.
you guys together?
Oh, together?
Yeah.
Okay, try it. Okay. Look with the crowd here. Yeah, okay.
Or do you want me to do it with them? Okay.
Short people in the back, tall people in the front. Come on.
I think that's reversed.
You can. Yeah, you read too, baby. Over here. You're tall. You're wearing those platforms today.
Don, move. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Don, there you go. Perfect. Smile. And one more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
so we're really done. That's it.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
So good to see your friend wasn't able to make it.
I don't think she's back yet from Michigan because she would have texted me when she got back.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Looks like it made it just in time.
A poem called Rhyming Timing.
Rhyming Timing.
From Flower Man, also available.
From Flower Man. I have to say, both these books are excellent. Reading both. I'm a third of the way in here. Read many of the poems in Flower Man. And I chose Rhyming Timing in honor of Don rhyming. But I know when he does it, he rocks it. And like, cause we got started about 15, 16 years ago, wasn't a whole lot of rhyming. So it's a thrill to see it arising more. And it's a pleasure to see Don rock his rhyming in this poem, Rhyming Timing. And it goes like this from Flower Man, Don Kingfisher Campbell. My love loves the seagulls. To her, they're a double delight. She digs them by the water, enjoys their reflection in daylight. My love also loves the flowers, visits gardens just to take photos. With her boyfriend, the poet, they laugh at their name logos. Both love the colors of the floral rainbow. There is red like their passion, yellow like their fearful hearts. That love will leave them in purple fashion. But love should have no fear of all that jazz when feelings are pure as white. A little sun is inside every flower, and no petal ever took flight. Without the food of love on board, cool inside feelings don't have to hide. They are as delicious as pastries. Together, hearts are beside. And flourish like a fountain of feeling. Seagulls line up to witness the jets of feeling flying by, leaving faces with smiling kisses. The flowers bloom separately, then become a team in life. The Olympics of love are won when a man pairs up with a wife. Families are born from this coupling. They endure the tough times to come out smelling like roses. New fire in their rhymes. Ooh, I love that. Thank you, Dawn. It's an honor to read this wonderful poem. I want to keep on reading, Dawn. I love It's addictive. Thank you.
Sir. Let's just go before anybody else starts wanting to read.
Thank you, everyone.